As the old woman was about leaving, she turned back and looked at Udo as she mumbled some words underneath her breath. Late that evening, Udo felt a sharp pain in her stomach. She screamed out in pain, and when her sister Ugo rushed in, she met Udo wincing in pain. The chief's daughter Nkem, amused at the fact that Ugo had now transformed into an old woman, laughed hysterically as she walked past Ugo, murmuring hurtful words underneath her breath. Ugo, although heartbroken, remained hopeful that one day she would transform back to her true form. Months passed and Ugo remained in her old form. She barely left the house as people began to troop to her hut to see the young woman, rumored to now be old. Unsure of how the villagers caught wind of the information, Ugo suspected that Nkem, the chief's daughter, was obviously responsible for the leak. Her twin sister Udo invited several powerful men and women to help transform her sister back to normal, but all they said was that the old man who gave Ugo the magical amulet was the only one who could transform her back to her normal self. Sad and confused, the twins decided to journey back to the village where Ugo last saw the old man. When they arrived the village, the old man was nowhere to be found. The twins knocked from door to door, asking if anyone had seen the old man, but no one knew who they were talking about. After days of futile search, the twins decided to return back to their village. On their way back, they saw a young boy who seemed lost and confused. Udo approached the boy to ask what he was doing all alone by the bushes, and the young boy revealed that he had no idea where he was. On seeing that everywhere was getting dark, Udo urged the boy to follow them home as she could not risk anything bad happening to him. They arrived home late that evening and met their husband, the chief, who asked who the little boy was. Udo explained to him that the boy was lost and pleaded that they shelter him till they are able to locate his family. The chief, unable to say no to his favorite wife, agreed, and the little boy stayed with them in their hut that night. The next morning, Udo was in the kitchen preparing a meal when the young boy walked in and said to her that her baby was crying. Udo was confused as she had no child of her own after the death of her two sons. She looked at the boy confused and asked what he was talking about, and the boy pointed to her room, repeating what he said, that a baby was crying. Udo, unable to understand what was happening, prepared the meal quickly and headed out to find the young boy's parents. She walked for hours with the little boy, asking everyone they came across, but no one knew the little boy or where he had come from. Udo was so concerned as she wondered how worried his family would be at this point. However, they returned home, hoping to find the young boy's family soon. That same night, as everyone was asleep, Ugo heard a faint sound and decided to check what it was. She left her room and caught sight of the young boy in tears. She asked why the boy was crying, but her questions were left unanswered as the young boy remained mute. Ugo comforted the little boy and went back to bed as she believed that the boy was crying because he missed his family so much. By morning, everyone woke up and noticed that the little boy was nowhere to be found. They searched the whole hut but couldn't find him anywhere and guessed that he would have gone away to find his family. So many hours later, the young boy returned with an old woman who claimed to be his grandmother. The old woman was so grateful to Udo for housing her son and thanked her with all of her heart. As the old woman was about leaving, she turned back and looked at Udo as she mumbled some words underneath her breath. Late that evening, Udo felt a sharp pain in her stomach. She screamed out in pain, and when her sister Ugo rushed in, she met Udo wincing in pain. They rushed her to the village herbalist, who revealed that she was pregnant again. This was scary, as Udo dreaded the fact of being pregnant after losing two babies already. When the chief heard that she was pregnant, he became worried, as he could not stand losing another child to the cold hands of death. He heard of a very powerful woman who lived at the outskirts of their village and decided to visit the woman with his wife Udo, hoping that the woman could help them save their unborn baby. When they arrived at the woman's hut, Udo realized that the woman was the grandmother of the young boy she saved not so long ago. The old woman was so happy to see Udo again and asked why they had come to her hut. Udo revealed to the old woman that her husband entered into a covenant with his late wife that has claimed the lives of her two babies in the past. She then told the woman that she was pregnant again and feared what will happen to the baby when it is born, and the woman smiled at her and revealed that the problem had long been sorted. She revealed to Udo that on the evening when she returned with her grandson, she realized that Udo and her family were plagued by an age-long covenant which prevented them from enjoying the fruits of their marriage. So the old woman on that day mumbled some words underneath her breath which broke the effects of the covenant, setting Udo and her husband free from the covenant that had held them bound for years. She revealed to them that their unborn child would not die but live a very long life. This brought Udo to tears as she could not believe that she would finally be a mother. Chief Kalu was so excited as he thanked the old woman for her kindness and was glad that Udo decided to help the little boy on that fateful day, as her act of kindness ended up rewarding them greatly. The next day, the chief's daughter Nkem returned home and informed her father that a young man had asked for her hand in marriage. Her father was so excited as this was the first man to declare an interest in his daughter. He told Nkem to invite the young man to their home, and Nkem informed her father that the young man was planning on performing the marital rites on his visit. She further stated that the young man had no family as all his family members died in a fire many years ago. Her father, filled with sympathy, agreed to the arrangement as his daughter's happiness was all that mattered to him. A few days later, the young man visited and introduced himself to the chief as Chisom, revealing his intentions to marry Nkem. He pleaded with the chief to allow him perform the marital rites discreetly, and the chief agreed as this was his beloved daughter's wish. The marital rites were now performed and Nkem was now married to Chisom. Shortly afterwards, Udo returned home and met the young man in her home. She was shocked as she had never seen him before. Her sister Ugo, on noticing that Udo had returned, emerged from inside her hut and caught sight of Nkem and the young man. Immediately she set her eyes on the young man, she transformed back into her young self, whilst the young man transformed into a very old man. Everyone's mouth opened in shock as Ugo realized in that moment that the young man who came to marry the chief's daughter was the old man she had been looking for all this while. The chief's daughter was so devastated as she could not believe that she was married to the old man standing before her. Ugo, now in her youthful form, confronted the old man with rage burning in her eyes. She demanded an explanation for the deceit and manipulation he had subjected her to for years. The old man then revealed that he was a sorcerer who had sought to regain his youth. He admitted to using deceptive means to trick Ugo into giving up her youthful appearance for him. The chief, enraged at all that had transpired, reported the sorcerer to the king of the village, who locked him up in the palace dungeon to prevent him from using his powers to disrupt the lives of innocent people in the village. The marriage between Nkem and the sorcerer was automatically annulled, and Nkem learnt her bitter lesson never to take hasty decisions when making life-changing choices. The experience also taught her to treat others better, as she noticed how concerned Ugo and Udo were for her well-being. Instead of mocking or laughing at her, the twins showed her sympathy, and in that moment, she realized that she had acted terribly to them all these years for no justifiable reason. Nkem vowed to change her ways and decided to live in peace with her father's twin wives. Not long afterwards, Udo gave birth to twin boys who were so healthy and strong. The boys lived a very long life, bringing joy to Udo and her husband Chief Kalu. The twins, grateful for the intervention of the old woman, continued to live harmoniously with Chief Kalu, who learned to love them equally. The lesson to be learned from this story is that we should always be kind to people we come across in life, as we never know when an act of kindness may come back to reward us. Udo's decision to help the lost young boy not only saved him, but also led to the intervention of the old woman. In essence, the story encourages kindness, honesty, unity, and personal growth as essential values for a fulfilling and harmonious life. It suggests that even in the face of challenges, a compassionate and virtuous approach can lead to unexpected blessings and long-lasting happiness. I hope you enjoyed the story.
Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.